Tennessee's ability to run the football is going to be the difference in a win and a loss at Mississippi State.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome into it. I am Eric Cain, your host here of Locked On Vols. Every single morning when you wake up, weekday morning when you wake up, free and available wherever you get your podcast. And, of course, after the Tennessee football games as well. This week, maybe it'll be a little bit tough because I'll be on the road at the game, covering the game. But, yeah, looking forward to it. Tennessee and Mississippi State, just one more sleep. And then it'll be football time in Mississippi for the Volunteers and the Volunteers and the Bulldogs. About to say Cowboys. No, not Cowboys. You probably thought that. I'm about to say cowbells, right? All right. It's going to be a fun show. Boogie Bentley of the Talkin Vawlz Network going to come up and join us in segment number 2 and 3 for a little bit we call Locked On Talkin Vawlz every Friday during football season. But keys to a Tennessee football victory here on a Friday morning. That's what the show coming up in a matter of seconds. This episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward Mazda, where you move and you can be moved. Okay, so looking forward to all that, and let's dive into it, man. We've been talking Mississippi State really all weekend long. We talked about the road issues. I'll talk to Boogie about it here in a little bit as well, and the road record and how it's just incredibly tough in general, not just for Tennessee, but in general, not named Alabama and Georgia over the last 10, 15 years to win on the road in this league. And Mississippi State's mass capacity is not what it is in Death Valley, not what it is in Knoxville, not what it is in the Swamp, not what it is in Tuscaloosa, but it's going to be loud. It's going to be a fun environment, and I can't wait to be there. Open air press box, one of the last good viewing opportunities for media. Again, an open air press box that we just don't have those anymore. And I know if you're sitting here watching and listening, you're like, dude, Cainer, who cares, right? I care. I care because that's how God intended for people like me to cover football games. Open air press boxes. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But I'm excited to hear those cowbells. I'm excited to see another fan base get after it in the Southeastern Conference and just continue to get more ammunition on why this league and this sport is just the best that it possibly is, right? But you're going to have to combat all that. What are some keys to combating all that if you're Tennessee football? Get off to a good start. Tennessee football has gotten off to good starts on the road several times, right? Alabama 2023, Georgia 2024, some neutral site games as well. Tennessee, against Syracuse earlier this year. There's other examples. Even at home against Georgia, I'm talking about trying to, get off to a good start on the road. Even at home against Georgia, a couple of weeks ago, Tennessee scored 21 first quarter points. Tennessee's been a good first quarter football team. Going on script and working and going and executing your play calls and all that. You just got to sustain it. And so I think taking the air out of the stadium, silencing those cowbells, starting off good in the first quarter, starting off well in the first half of this football game. In turn, what does that mean? Well, what does Tennessee do the best right now? Well, it's kind of up in the air, right? I mean, Joey Aguilar, I love the football in his hands, don't get me wrong, but I mean, Tennessee at its core is a running football team, and it always is. And what can you do to win football games on the road? What did Tennessee do at Kentucky in 2023 in the third and fourth quarter, specifically with Dylan Sampson? Ran the football, took control of the game, iced the clock, and you really just grabbed the hold of that football game and it wasn't going to let go. Running the football. And Tennessee's got a really good run game. I understand it wasn't at its best against Georgia. I think Georgia's going to be a really good football team when it's all said and done. I like Deshaun Bishop. I like Star Thomas. I think Tennessee with that two-headed monster dominating the workload in the backfield. Peyton Lewis should get some carries, no doubt, but I think it's going to be a whole lot more Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas, just as it was in the Georgia game. And I think if your ability to run the football on the road, pick up first downs, go with your tempo, that's going to set yourself up to get off to a good start and take some air out of that crowd and silence some of those cowbells for sure. So run the football, I think, is key number one. Key number two, stop the run. I know this is football 101. This is elementary, right? I get all that. Fluff Baldwell, pretty good player. 230 pounds, got to tackle him. Tennessee, I wouldn't say struggled against the running back from Syracuse. He was 230 pounds, but he had about 95 yards. Gave up too much, in my opinion. Tennessee's been missing some tackles the last couple of weeks. Bothwell's a big guy. You better wrap up and hold on. You might not bring him down yourself, but hold on and wait for help, right? Davin Booth is another guy that's got tons of experience in this offense from Mississippi State, but in this league as well. They run the football very well, averaging over 200 yards a game. Again, they played NIU, Alcorn State, Arizona State, and Southern Miss. Arizona State's a quality good win, don't get me wrong. But I don't know about Mississippi State. I think that Mississippi State's very much improved. I don't know how good Mississippi State is right now, but I think that they can run the football very well. So you got to shut down that run. Get after the quarterback, right? Tennessee's 6th in the nation. Boogie's going to mention this here in a moment. 6th in the nation in sacks. Tennessee's done a really, really good job presenting pressure to opposing quarterbacks. This offensive line for Mississippi State is interesting. They've had to shuffle some guys around. They have not started the same 5 in 4 games so far this year. I think this Saturday they will for the first time. Their right tackle is out for the year. But they've been really effective. Again, an offense against the juggernauts of Southern Miss, Alcorn State, NIU in 3 of the 4 games, Arizona State the 3rd. This offense is averaging 444 yards of total offense, 35 points per game, right? 36 points per game. Hold on. 39 points per game, almost 40 points per game. They're throwing the football for 237 yards per game, running the football for 206. The offensive line's done its job. Offensive line has certainly done its job. It's a big offensive line. Tennessee's going to have to rely on its rotation, getting Jackson Boyd back. I think that's going to help. But more than anything, you need to clog up those holes a little bit and let the linebackers go run and make some plays. These linebackers need to make some more plays if you are the University of Tennessee for sure. Again, football 101. I don't have any groundbreaking keys or anything. I think Mississippi State is a much improved football team. I think Tennessee is a much better football team. I do. I think at the end of the day, Tennessee's got more horses. I think Tennessee's got more depth. I think Tennessee's got more quality of talent on the roster than that of Mississippi State. And I think in this league, especially on the road, that can take over. That can take over in a football game in the 3rd and 4th quarter. And that's what I see in this football game. Tennessee taking over based on talent. Tennessee taking over based on ability in this football game and kind of silencing some of those cowbells, silencing the crowd and getting out there with a win. I think this will be a game that plays a lot of snaps. I think it's going to be a game that can go pretty quickly because both teams are going to run the football a lot. 2 coaches that know each other very well, but also 2 defenses that, sure, I think points will be scored. I'm not saying this is going to be a defensive game, but these 2 defenses, both for Mississippi State and for Tennessee, are going to know what's coming, right? Because they face this offense in fall camp and spring practice. They face this offense still even during the season for some light 11-on-11 work in practice. They know the tendencies. They know the tempo. They at least know what's coming. Okay, every coach has their tweaks and evolutions, and Josh Heupel, obviously no different in 2025. Offense looks a little bit different, right? But the foundation's the same for both of these offenses because Lebby spent time with Heupel in 2 different stints throughout his coaching career. So I'm expecting the defense to at least maybe go make some plays or 2 because they know and they're used to it. It's not going to smack them in the face like this tempo does a lot of the teams in the first quarter and the first half of football games. I'm excited to see this. I think Tennessee's going to win. I think more points are going to be scored than I initially thought of, earlier in the week, and I'll give my score prediction with Boogie later in the show. But I know I gave a score prediction yesterday during the crossover. I think I like more points in this football game. So stay tuned later in the show for me to unveil how many points more I think Tennessee will score. All right, when we come back, we'll get in my conversation with Boogie Bentley, what he thinks about Mississippi State, the environment, the road issues. Are we making too much of this for Josh Heupel? All that and more coming up next right here on your Friday morning Locked On Vols. This episode is brought to you in part by Mazda's, moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. These are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and they keep moving the game forward. This week's moments that move the game forward is Chris Brazzell, that opening touchdown on the first drive, 6 receiving touchdowns on the season. That leads the nation. Man, he's been phenomenal. It's been really, really fun to watch. Certainly not a fluke. He has been doing it week after week after week. He's moving Tennessee's offense forward along with Joey Aguilar. It's been a whole lot of fun to watch. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Want to give a shout out to Mazda, and as always, want to give a shout out to our friends over at DoorDash. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. All right, I like Tennessee's running backs. I like Tennessee Peyton Lewis. It was a focal point to get him going in a game like that last weekend against UAB. He took that speed option to the house for 32 yards. He had a game-high 13 carries or whatever it was. It was good to see Peyton Lewis get going, and I thought that he certainly was streaky as well in this football game. He's been streaky throughout the season, but I thought he was on a hot streak, if you will, against the UAB Blazers. And just like Peyton Lewis delivered for the Tennessee Volunteers, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you can save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period ending November the 18th. Boogie Bentley, Tennessee's on the road for the first time, true road game here in 2025, going to Mississippi State. How many cowbells have you heard this week?
I'm sick of talking about cowbells. I'm sick of they're haunting me in my dreams. How is it even legal? Like, let's just start there. How is it legal to have a cowbell? And the SEC is like, oh, you can use it at certain times, kickoffs, commercial breaks, but no, they use them the entire game.
Do you police that? I'm unfamiliar with the when you can, when you can't, because if a guy's at a football game and he's had a couple of beverages, I mean, he's gonna be ringing that cowbell all night long, right? I mean, what's to stop him? You're gonna eject him? Okay, well, there's 60,000 people there,
Yeah, cowbells in Starkville are as illegal as Jack Daniels in your cowboy boots 6 years ago in Neyland Stadium. That's about how illegal the cowbells are.
But can we at least say this? I mean, you don't appreciate it this week because your team's playing down there, but I mean, that is one of the things that makes college football just really kind of cool, right? I mean, just weird stuff like that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And, we talk about winning on the road in the SEC. Guess what? It's tough to go win at Mississippi State, and that's going to be a hostile environment. That's just life in the SEC. Like I said, these little traditions, these little things all around the country, outside of maybe Texas A&M and those weird male cheerleaders in overalls, everything else I'm good with. I'm good with it.
I'm with you there. I think I stop at the yell leaders.
A little weird.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. All right. How you feeling about this game, Mississippi State? Well, what's your take on the Bulldogs so far this year?
Well, I mean, obviously, you look at them from a year ago, and then you look at them this year. It's a completely different football team, man. You think Jeff Lebby, right? And we got the reunion, Jeff Lebby, Josh Heupel. You think about a Jeff Lebby coached football team, your brain, almost similar to Josh Heupel, it immediately goes to offense. And that's really, they play good offense down there in Starkville right now. They've not really been tested. You look at the body of work going on the road to Southern Miss, Arizona State, number 12 at the time, but we can argue whether or not they belong to be there. Outside of that, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, but still, the only team you can play is the team in front of you when you go out there and put the ball down. And they've scored some points, right? Scoring almost 40 points a game, but it's defensively where they've been so much better. And again, you look at that team from a year ago, 118th in the country in scoring defense, just really bad on defense. This year, giving up less than 12 points a game, that's 16th in the country in scoring defense. They can make some plays. Going to be an interesting matchup. Of course, it's on the road. That concerns you. But I like this matchup for Tennessee. I think it's going to come down to the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively, and I think Tennessee can get it done in the trenches.
We all have our talking points, right? One of my talking points this week, talking points the university gives us, right? No. Talking points that come from Sunday night research on your next opponent. One of my talking points, of course, is 8-10. That's Josh Heupel's record in true road games here at Tennessee. I always followed up with well over half those losses are Florida, Georgia, Alabama, okay? And I also always followed up with it's hard to win in this league. And look around at some of the other records for true road games and all that. And Adam Sparks actually put out a story at the Knoxville News Sentinel.
Great article.
Breaking down how Heupel has actually been more successful than the average fan or average coach, on the road in this league. But my point is, I think it's the way you've lost some of these games, the hiccups, the no-shows, And that's still valid to bring up, right? I mean, you're not going to harp on that, but it is valid to bring up. So it is a storyline entering this football game. Am I looking too much into it? Am I not looking enough into it? Is it not going to matter because Tennessee's a better football team? What's your take on the whole road storyline? Because it's not everything, but it's certainly something. I mean, it's hard to win on the road in this league.
Man, just we're on the same page. This is a conversation we had on our show Wednesday night, and I even referenced the Adam Sparks article because I'm running with this narrative that Josh Heupel always slips up on the road. Josh Heupel struggles on the road, but the reality is, man, he's at the top of the SEC. You got Georgia and Alabama. Of course you do. It was Nick Saban because this list goes back to 2021. Kirby Smart at Georgia, but other than that, it's Ole Miss at 9-8, LSU 8-8, and guess what? After Ole Miss at 9-8, every other team in the SEC since 2021 has a record of 500 or worse on the road. It's tough to win on the road in the SEC, and Josh Heupel has been better than most. But let me spin this on you and ask you this question because Coach Jay brought it up on our Wednesday night show. You mentioned it's not necessarily that you lost on the road, it's how you lost on the road. And you look at Josh Heupel's record, 7-9 on the road. What'd you say, 8-10, right? 8-10. The article says 7-9. I don't know what that is. Regardless, either way, 7-9, 8-10, however you want to spin it. Let's flip that. So now it's either 9-7 or 10-8, right? Let me give you 3 games. Some of these games are close on the road. Let me give you 3 games. You talk about how. You look at Arkansas last year, Missouri 2 years ago, South Carolina. You get a flip. You get to flip 3 of those games. Just three games. Just 3 games. Because if Josh Heupel's 10-8 on the road, guess what? People still aren't happy. This narrative still exists. But if you can flip 3 of those games, what does Tennessee look like the last 3 years, right? You flip that South Carolina game. You flip that Missouri. You flip Arkansas last year. All of a sudden, our seeding in the college football playoff changes. We're not playing Ohio State in the first round. We got a better bracket. Man, are we going 2-3 games deep in the playoff? You flip a few. Oh, man, how things start to change real quick for Josh Heupel and the outside perspective maybe.
Yeah, the Missouri loss in 23, I'm not even going to consider that one because that would just take you to 9-3. The South Carolina loss, obviously, so much was on the table, right? I mean, you were probably a college football playoff team, and your quarterback goes down in that loss. That's not the reason you lost. Tennessee was still getting drilled when he went down in the third quarter. But that's the one you obviously would like to switch. And you're right, the Arkansas game last year, man. I mean, again, just getting shut out in the first half, kind of no showing, having some success in certain play designs early in the first quarter, early in the third quarter, and then just never running it again. I can't. I remember sitting there in Fayetteville Sunday morning when I was recording a show, and I'm just like, I mean, I'm not a coach, but I mean, good Lord, like if you have success running something, go back to it. Like what are you doing? And so, but you win that game, you're absolutely right. You're hosting a playoff game. You're not playing Ohio State. Who knows what your path to a potential national championship is? Those are the 2 games for sure that stick out to me. I mean, yeah, you have losses at Alabama on the road, Florida on the road, Georgia on the road. I mean, last year, 2024 at Georgia, that's a tough pill to swallow. But you erase that Arkansas game, man, things are different for Tennessee last year. So, and it's weird because some of those games Tennessee's played well. Think back to 2023 Alabama. Think back to Georgia last year. The starts, first halves, great. At least the first quarter against Georgia last year, good. They slipped up a little bit in the second half, allowed Georgia to tie that game heading into the half. But remember the Alabama game in 2023. Tennessee was leading, 20-7 at halftime? And Tennessee just no-showed in the second half, man. Like, 4-quarter game, got to finish. And again, that's reality of football, but it's even more of a challenge on the road when everything's going against you. Now, I will say this, man, and I mean, I'm excited. First time I'm going to Mississippi State and Starkville. I'm pumped to see the cowbells. I'm pumped to see the environment.
You're going to be in a cow pasture, Cainer. Enjoy it. They're having biscuits and gravy wrestling 2 miles from the stadium after the game.
Yeah,
so
I'm going
to
cover it.
You have a great time. Yeah,
I'm going to cover it.
So. Locked on Vols Live. I hope so.
But I do think that, instead of going into Florida where it's like, 90,000 or whatever it is, and some of the other places, Mississippi State's capacity is like 65,000. I think that's going to be different, man. I mean, it's going to be hostile. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it's not going to be something, but it's not like Georgia coming into Neyland a couple weeks ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's still on the road. It's in the SEC. Man, I like Tennessee in this game. Something that was going through my mind while you were talking is we're talking about the losses. Look at some of the wins that Josh Heupel's had on the road. Oklahoma, huge win. LSU, nobody thought that Tennessee was going to go into Death Valley and come out with a win. Forget the fact that they ran them out of their own stadium. Big wins on the road for Josh Heupel as well. But, yeah, look, it's Mississippi State, the Cowbells. Man, I just like Tennessee in this football game. They're going to be loud. They're going to make noise. But I think jump on them early and run them out of their own stadium.
Keys in this football game, what Tennessee's got to hone in on in order to come out of Starkville victorious and 4-1 heading into the bye week. That's coming up next as we continue on this Friday morning. Little Locked On Talkin Vawlz. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors, each 2-ounce shot packs with the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar or zero crashes. What I love most is how portable these things are. Big taste, tiny shot. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take them anywhere, and you can get the boost when you need it. I always reach for my favorite flavor. You know, and there's several because, again, there's 17 jam-packed. I've got like 4 or 5 that I have on a rotation because it's refreshing, gives me the quick lift before a busy day or, you know, sometimes in the afternoon when I'm just so tired and I've got so much going on and the baby kept us up all the night before. I take my favorite 5-hour energy shot and it gets me through the rest of the day. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store, online, at www.5hourenergy.com, or you can order on Amazon today. Boogie Bentley, what individual matchup between the lines are you watching in this football game? Tennessee wins this matchup. Tennessee wins the game.
Line of scrimmage. I think it comes down to a line of scrimmage game. Blake Shapen been sacked 6 times on the year, and that's not devastating. That's not horrible. That's like middle of the pack, tied for 52nd in sacks allowed as Mississippi State. Tennessee, on the other hand, man, even I'm guilty of this. I don't think I've given them enough credit. It doesn't seem like they've gotten home 15 times, tied for 6th in the country in sacks. 15 sacks led by Josh Josephs with 3. Nathan Robinson, Caleb Herring, Jalen McMurray all have 1.5. Can Tennessee get after Blake Shapen? On the other side of that, we know what this offensive line has done. Like the fact that the offensive line was questioned in the offseason almost looks comical now, and I get it. We're only a third of the way through the season.
But you had to question it, right?
You
had to.
Unknown.
Yeah.
What I kept saying in the offseason was just because it's different doesn't mean it can't be better. And I think this offensive line through 4 games is better than they were a year ago, but they've kept Joey Aguilar clean. I've said it multiple times. I'm not counting the 2 sacks. One of them came against the backups and Jake Merglinger. Another one came because Joey fumbled a snap. This offensive line has been great protecting him. If the protection does break down, Joey's been great getting out of the pocket. Can Mississippi State get after him? They've only got what are they? They're not doing that good getting after the quarterback. 5 sacks on the season. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Caner, Will Whitson leading that team with 2 sacks. I don't think he's playing on Saturday. They also have a right tackle on the offensive line that's not playing on Saturday.
Both those 2 guys out for the year. Yeah.
So I think that is another factor here. Line of scrimmage game for me, but also running the football. Jeff Lebby, similar to Josh Heupel, you know he wants to run it. Both teams running for over 200 yards a game. Who wins that line of scrimmage? I think it's Tennessee, and I think it's why they come out of here with a win.
The offensive line story is very interesting. So we had Neil Price on the Rocky Top Rewind Sunday night, and he said if they start the same 5 against Tennessee up front, that'll be the first time that the same 5 have started back-to-back games this season. It's early. They've dealt with some injuries. Again, I mentioned the right tackle out for the year. Still, they've been mixing and matching on the offensive line. They're big, they're physical, and they've been getting it done. Competition, again, like – I'm sorry, I'm not buying stock into going to Southern Miss and winning a football game. I recognize that this program was 2-10 and 0-8 last year. I'm not buying any stock in whatsoever going to Hattiesburg and winning a football game. I'm just not. Plus, Southern Miss is 2-2 this year. Okay, you have Arizona State, which was a good win. Overhyped, overranked preseason because good coach, good quarterback, one of the best wide receivers in the country. That's it. But I don't think Arizona State is worthy enough to be a top 15. But that was a good win, the way you want it. And then you have Alcorn at NIU. I mean, again, so I think the biggest thing for me is I don't know what Mississippi State – I know Mississippi State is improved. I don't know how good Mississippi State is. But that offensive line, again, I've been really intrigued all week long because they've kind of been battered and bruised, but they've been getting it done. Tennessee's defensive line, Tennessee getting after the quarterback. You mentioned the pass rush. You mentioned Mississippi State's pass rush, only 5 sacks. Boogie, they had 10 all of last year, 5 in the SEC. Just horrendous, historically bad defense has gotten a whole lot better so far. I'm intrigued to see Tennessee's pressure on quarterback, Blake Shapen, getting after with that offensive line. But you mentioned the run game. Both these offenses, they're poured from the same foundation. All right, they want to run the football. And I think Tennessee's ability to stop the run with a pretty good back, South Alabama transfer, Fluff Bothwell, that's 136 pounds. He's going to be a load. Tackling is going to be key. Tennessee's missed 10 tackles or more in 3 of the last 4 games. They've got to tackle. And then Booth, the guy they had last year, which is a pretty good back. Shut down the run, limit the run, put the football in Blake Shapen's hands and see if he can go win the football game. I like Joey Aguilar going to win the football game more than I like Blake Shapen, but I do recognize Blake Shapen, it's hard to win games without your starting quarterback, and he's clearly made a difference with Mississippi State this year now that he's healthy.
Yeah, and again, just line of scrimmage game, right? Everything you laid out. And I think Joey Aguilar, if you keep him clean, which I expect Tennessee's offensive line to do, he's going to pick you apart, run the football, use some play action. Blake Shapen, man, if do you have concern about their wide receivers? I trust Rodney Garner's defensive line. I trust Tim Banks' defense to stop the run. And I even think when you look at Tennessee's numbers through 4 games, they're kind of skewed. Every team you played was playing from behind. Syracuse threw it all game. UAB threw it 50 times. Their numbers are a little skewed there, but I still think we've got some concerns on defense. One guy that concerns me is Brennan Thompson, 17 catches, 291 yards on the season, 3 touchdowns, transferred from Oklahoma, elite speed. The kid has elite track speed. So who are you going to put on him? Is it Ty Redmond? Is it Colton Hood? They've also got Anthony Evans that transferred from Georgia. Can Blake Shapen find those guys, utilize those guys? Any concern with Thompson? I know you mentioned running the football. Fluff Bothwell, by the way, when that dude entered the portal, everybody talking about him. Greatest name in the transfer portal. Everybody wanted him at Tennessee. I think we won that with Star Thomas. But any concern with their wide receivers? We saw against Georgia. You look at Ty Redmond, his PFF grades, way high. Stock up until you play Georgia, and then it's stock way down. Hopefully we get Jamal McCoy back for Arkansas. That's the rumor. That's the buzz. But Ty Redmond's got to get it done this weekend against Mississippi State. Can he do it against 2 guys that played at Oklahoma and Georgia?
Will we see Jalen McMurray play corner this week? I'm going to say no. And
no, it's not happening.
I cannot believe that that's not in the works. I mean, like, you and I have talked about it. I have no issue with Ty Redmond playing. My issue is him playing 90 snaps. My issue is Colton Hood playing 96 snaps against Georgia. Like, what are you doing? I wholeheartedly believe that if they spell a corner, it's going to be William Wright, which he's played in big games before. Like, I don't hate that. He's a veteran. It is what it is. But I can't believe Jalen McMurray's not spelling those guys to allow Boo to play a little bit more star. And I know good Boo, bad Boo last week. I get all that. We've talked about all that. But I think this team needs help at corner, some depth. And obviously, you're down in your top 2 corners. You're going to have a depth issue. The fact that Tennessee's getting pretty solid play out of these 2 guys, one being a true freshman and the other being a transfer they got here in the spring that was mocked earlier in the week by CBS Sports as a first-rounder, man. Colton Hood, how about that?
Crazy.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, Anthony Evans, the third's got talent. Brendan Thompson. I mean, all those guys were just so beat up last year at Oklahoma. Aiden Williams from Ole Miss. He's been beat up a little bit. Jordan Mosley, also a deep threat guy. I think there's some talent there. Defensively, yeah, they're not where I want them to be. But I'm like you. I mean, some of this is skewed. We can look at stats a number of different ways. Jalen Kitna, Florida quarterback, it is at UAB. We know who his father is. Okay, it's in his genes aren't everything, but he's got it. Threw it 52 times. They ran the football for 23 yards, completely one-dimensional. Also, after the first half, when you were leading 42-7, Tennessee emptied the bench defensively. Okay, and Sidney Walton played 40 snaps. Caleb Beasley played 40 snaps. All these guys, Tim Merritt, you're force feeding all these guys, and I don't have that big of an issue with it, but it is going to skew the stats some. You're giving up too many points to begin with, and I know that's a thing. I think the linebackers got to play better. But yeah, it should be interesting. That's why I'm kind of, as we transition to the score predictions, earlier in the week I was kind of 31-20 Tennessee. I think Mississippi State's going to score more than that. Give me 34. I'm probably going to hit this over now. No, I probably actually I don't think I will. I don't know, math not good on the fly. Give me 34 Tennessee. Give me at least 24 from Mississippi State. I think Tennessee wins. I think Tennessee covers, but I do think Tennessee will give up some points because that's just kind of where you are. I think Jackson Moy is going to help a little bit up front, at least sharing the workload a little bit in the interior. I think Tennessee, at the end of the day, Boogie, is just too talented, too many horses. I think Mississippi State's going to make it difficult. I think they're going to obviously, I think they're much improved, but I think in the end, in the second half, Tennessee pulls away because Tennessee is just flat out a better football team. At the end of the day, sometimes the better football teams just take over, and I think that's what Tennessee's going to do in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm right on top of that pick. I've got Tennessee 38, Mississippi State 24. And for me, it's when we started talking about this game, look, you beat UAB. Nobody cared post game about UAB. So we start talking Mississippi State live in the post game show, and me and Coach Jay kind of kicking it around. I was like, where do you think the line's going to be on this thing? I said, I think 2 scores. I think it's 14 points. It opens at 13.5. We're seeing it shift. I can't explain Vegas. I don't understand Vegas. They're trying to move money in a certain direction. Bottom line is it opens at 2 touchdowns. Why? Because Tennessee's a better football team. And like you said, we got more talent. I think we got better coaching. You just got to go down there and take care of business. And sometimes we as fans, we as talking heads, put too much into it. That's why I love the article this week from Adam Sparks, and I'm glad that you brought it up because sometimes a little perspective, a little truth goes a long way. And Josh Heupel, in reality, in comparison to other coaches in the SEC, has been better on the road than most coaches in the SEC.
I agree with everything you said. I still, and again, this isn't what the show's about, but I still want to make the point that I don't want to say inexcusable, like fireable offense, because it's not, but the no-shows is what's awful about that. Again, we talked about the no-shows. Gotta go.
That's why it elevates it, right? The way you lost, and I'm glad that you said that at the top of the show. It's the way you lost that leaves this bad taste in your mouth and creates the narrative that you can't win on the road. That's what it's all about, is the way you lost to Arkansas, the way you lost to South Carolina, the way you lost to Missouri. That's what rubs a little salt in the wound.
All right, you got Tennessee winning. I got Tennessee winning. Give me the guy, not Joey Aguilar. Give me the guy that we're talking about Sunday morning, or the guy that you're talking about post-game on Saturday night.
You know who I hope we're talking about is Jackson Moy. I hope Jackson Moy looks good, looks healthy, and makes a big enough impact, because that's the question mark for me moving forward. And not to just jump right over Mississippi State and skip ahead of Mississippi State and start looking ahead at the schedule, is how good can this defense be with Jackson Moy back, with David Hobbs back, when Bryson Easton and Don Bailey aren't playing 90 snaps a game, how much better can they look? And then, the buzz and the talk about Jamal McCoy coming back for Arkansas, I think that's huge. But we've been talking about Jackson Moy, and we've been waiting on Jackson Moy since he went down early in that first game. I hope we're talking about Jackson Moy on Saturday after the game.
Give me...
You're going to take one of those easy ones. Give me Joey Aguilar. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Give me Star Thomas. I think Tennessee's going to run the football effectively. I wanted to say Braylon Staley. I think Chris Bryce will lead the nation in touchdowns. Okay, that set him aside. I think Mike Matthews having a great year. Like, stat-wise, he doesn't have bad stats, but like he's third in line in stats, but like he's earned every bit of it. Not saying the other two haven't, but like he's worked. I think Mike Matthews played a phenomenal year. Braylon Staley, man, he can just get that boom in this offense. I wanted to take him, but give me Star Thomas. I think on the road, running the football, I think he's Tennessee's best running back. I think in the second half they're going to ride him and Bishop, and I think that his physicality, a little bit of athleticism with that spin move, it all works, and I think Tennessee's going to run the football effectively and win this football game in Starkville. Tennessee will be 4-1 heading into the first bye week of the season, and in a pretty good spot. In a pretty good spot for sure. Boogie Bentley, Talkin Vawlz Network. You guys will be live this morning, and you guys will be live after the game on Saturday, right?
Every Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Talkin Vawlz Morning Show. Also Saturday, an hour before kickoff, and then immediately following the game, we drop a video early Sunday morning, kind of recapping everything. Live Sunday night. It's a fan call-in show. If you're a fan and you want to support a channel that's for the fans, by the fans, that's what it is. You talk about narrative of road games. There might be a narrative about the Talkin Vawlz Network that, they're just pretending to be VolQuest. They're pretending to be media. Nope, I've never done that.
That's what I tell people.
Every single video I make, I say we're not experts, we're not insiders. You want to come over to a buddy's house and sit on the back deck and talk about Tennessee football? You at the water cooler at work talking Tennessee football? That's what we do. It's for the fans, by the fans. All opinions are welcome. We argue, we bicker, we're like family. That's what the Talkin Vawlz Network is. If you like that idea, then come check us out.
Boogie, weekends ahead, man. Let's get it. Appreciate you.
Always good time, brother.
All right. As always, great catching up with Boogie Bentley, a little locked on Talkin Vawlz here on a Friday morning. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Tennessee at Mississippi State. Can't wait to see what happens. Be hitting the road, heading to Starkville later today. Of course, kickoff's going to be at 3:15 local, 4:15 Eastern on the SEC network. Fact of the matter is, Tennessee's the better football team. Tennessee should win this game. Let's see what happens. I'm intrigued to see Joey Aguilar in this environment, his first in a true road game in Southeastern Conference play. Excited to see what he does. No doubt. Appreciate you guys for being here. I will do my best to have a post-game reaction pod sometime after kickoff, but with being on the road, different press box, having to get out of there, I don't know. I don't want to guarantee it's going to be there just because I'm going to be traveling, but I've had a post-game show the last every game so far this year, so I'm going to do my best. I'm going to take my mic. I'm going to do my best to have something out there Saturday night for you guys or early Sunday morning. So appreciate you guys as always. Every day is making this show what it is. Yeah, let's get after it, guys. This is Locked On Vols.